How we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin, and this is the final countdown to Invincible Shield episode before the album is released. I've just uploaded Firepower, so hopefully you enjoyed that review. It was pretty quick, but there wasn't really much to say about that album. It was Priest being Priest, basically. It's everything, 13 just really well structured songs. But I thought I'd do a little bonus episode for you now and tell you my top 5 Judas Priest albums, just to really put the cat amongst the pigeons and or put me amongst the wolves. You'll see what your reaction is. Just thought I'd put it together. So I've got a pile of CDs here. 2 honourable mentions. This actually is up there with my favourite albums, and that's Unleashed in the East. Not a studio album though, is it? So does a live album really count? But that is one of my favourite Priest albums. It's everything in the 70s. Yeah, pretty much everything you need from the 70s period. Just amped up and, with a bit more kick. And, maybe an odd ballad or something like that was left off it, but it doesn't matter. Like I say, everything you need in the 70s period of Priest is here. And then so that's the studio. It's not technically a studio album, so it's not a studio album at all, is it? So that's why I've not counted it. But I do love Unleashed in the East. Although my favourite, I'm thinking of having to rethink it now. Though my favourite live album, I think, is probably Metal Meltdown. But I like that album overall because it's got the 70s stuff on it. Anyway, right. Honourable mention, Jugulator. I've got a massive soft spot for this album. I always have. And I thought it was going to be in the top 5, funnily enough. But, nah, these albums got the edge over it. So, let's get into it. Top 5, British Steel. You need it, don't you? It's just, every song on there is a classic. It's an album that just plays itself. And I think it's the reason we're all talking about the band today. And it's... it was their 6th album, and it was the album that solidified them in heavy metal history forever. And it's the reason, it's the album that catapulted them into the band they are today. Next up is Firepower, the band's present album, and I just think it's a phenomenal album from start to finish. Every track is just perfect. It's perfectly structured, perfectly laid out. And yeah, just the later day masterpiece. Number 3, Screaming for Vengeance. It's the true follow-up to British Steel. This is, part 1 of 2, really, of a double album that I think you can guess what's coming up next. I love songs like Electric Eye, Riding with the Wind. This is classic. Bloodstone is phenomenal. Boss Take These Chains as well. It's perfect. Another Thing Coming. Yeah, it's another perfect Priest album with some of the band's biggest hits. Number 2, again, just slightly has an edge over this one, but it's Defenders of the Faith. Let's get that out. It's just an ever so slightly better version of Scream for Vengeance, really. This is the band in their peak 80s. I love song, Eat Me Alive, Love Bites, Rock Hard Ride Free. It just gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. I really hope they do it live on this current tour, because seeing it live on the Nostradamus tour was just amazing. Just a perfect 80s metal album. And then number 1, I think you've guessed it, but here we go. It is the Painkiller. Yeah, it's a perfect... I think it's one of the best metal albums ever recorded by anyone, ever. I think even I was watching an interview with Danny Filth, and they at the end of the interview they just went, right, quick fire question, Iron Maiden or Judas Priest? And he was like, he went, Iron Maiden overall, but he went, Painkiller is the best album ever. And I wouldn't argue with that. Is it my? It's probably not my. Well, it's up there with my all-time favourite albums in metal ever. And when I say, oh, it's the best album, yeah, I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but I can't think of a lot of albums better than it, you know? I can think of albums that are just as good, but it's just, yeah, it's just over 45 minutes of just pure metal glory, and it's amazing. So, yeah, just a quick little one for you, little bonus round. And, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for Invincible Shield. Take care.